Welcome to Life with a Guitar. My friends call me Fongo. I'm sitting here with a buddy I call Stick, my brother from another mother. We're going to talk to him today about his life with a guitar. Stick, welcome to the show. This is our virgin show.
How you doing? We're popping more cherries now.
We're popping more cherries,
Amen.
exactly. That is probably not a politically correct term, but
Is the left movie after me?
you and I are farthest thing from that.
Yeah.
So, you're a guitar player. I'm a guitar player.
Yeah.
You're a teacher. I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
We've known each other for years.
Going probably on 15.
We've performed together.
Yeah. We have. We had the Jamathon days.
The Jamathon days.
Those are,
Yes.
what did you call
We've
it?
recorded together.
Night of the Living Chicken.
Yes. Something to that
God.
effect. The chicken should not be feared.
It should not be feared.
Should not be feared.
Neither should the Reaper.
Embrace the inner chicken inside your playing.
Embrace your inner chicken. So this is where Buckethead got his beginning at, huh?
All right, man. My first question for you, bro, is what is your first memory of guitar?
I can only do one. I got a lot of good
You
memories.
got a first memory? Like the first time it hit you is like, this is my shit right here.
Okay, so this might be slightly embarrassing on my end, but I can remember being 15 years old, and my best friend at the time and his cousin, we went out and we went up to the news agency and ripped off a couple magazines. We all stole some beer from our dads and met on the railroad tracks and stealing cans of chew, and went to vandalize an old abandoned factory over in the industrial park. And when I came home that night, kind of feeling proud of my minor crimes there, I saw the video on MTV for Youth Gone Wild, and I was sold at that moment. I could still remember laying on mom and dad's couch, and that video came on, and I was like, what is this? Because it was right in the middle of the glam era.
Yeah.
And they weren't glam. Their music was kind of that genre a little bit, but they just had like this, they were like the Guns N' Roses, LA Guns, and then there was Skid Row, and it wasn't too long, I think on their second album, when they released Slave to the Grind, I saw, this is weird,
Yeah.
I saw Pantera open up for Skid Row at Fort Wayne, second concert I ever went to, and I fell in love with them. Like I was just like, this is what I want to do, hands down. I don't care. This is what I'm doing.
And how old was that again?
I was 15.
15.
Bought my first guitar shortly after that,
Yeah.
and down the road, actually, when I was in my 30s, I got to meet Sabo and Hill from Skid Row, and it was
Right.
kind of cool to be able to thank them, and tell them the story. And I got to meet Sebastian Bach when I was going to college in Minneapolis, and I got to tell all of them. It's a really cool feeling to kind of go to your idols, these people that help you define what you want to be in your life, good or bad,
Yeah.
and just be like, it was you guys had this effect on me. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's times where I've kind of cursed them because it's not easy being a guitar player all the time, but
And that's true. It's true.
yeah, it was. That's what started the ball rolling. Is that it? Done. It was over.
Yeah.
And from there, it was like,
Had you had a guitar up to that point?
no, I had.
No.
And I think I probably got into it for all the wrong reasons.
Did you do any music in school, like band or drums?
I was an outstanding flutophone player. Or recorder.
Flutophone.
Remember?
Oh, the recorder. Yeah.
Those annoying dog whistles.
You know,
Yeah.
I know somebody that can get you to the next level in that recorder. If you ever want. I lost the number for that particular teacher.
Does she also do the snake venom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want your snake venom, get a hold of Johnny Fongo and he can hook you up. Cobra, rattlesnake, what do you want? Yeah, and it's funny because she still has that same hairdo. Anyway, I digress.
On to different things. So this can be a little bit of a metaphysical question for you.
What did I tell you about big words, Fongo?
I know. Starts with an M, ends with something else. What has guitar done for you?
Oh, man.
From that 15-year-old kid that
So
heard that song and saw that video and said, fuck yeah.
Wow. So, it is literally defined who I am as a person, I think. Like, I can't remember. I've been known in the area for teaching for so long, and just you know, I mean, I'm not always playing in a band per se, but you know, you're just, people know you. It's that tall, skinny guy that plays guitar. You know, you know, I've spent 20 years teaching guitar lessons, and that's something I absolutely love. I mean, you know, when we were younger, we could, you know, handle 70-some people a week. Now in my mature stage of life, we'll call it, I have less students, but I can put more focus into it, and I enjoy it so much more when I don't have, like, you know, when you have that many people, you don't get to know all of them on an intimate level. Like, I want to get to know the student, and you know, Bill.
The exceptional ones stand out. The ones that don't want to work. Okay,
and it's like,
don't have the time
right.
slot.
And when you have a smaller group of people, generally they're all into it. You know what I mean? Like, you've got a couple that are, it's a hobby to them or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a great way. Like, Bill used to always give me grief about it. He goes, "Man, you're too friendly with your students." But I'm like, I mean, you learn better from your friends. You know, in my opinion. And I mean. A good majority of my friends are people I've had some type of interaction with guitar.
Right.
You know, and I mean, and so you think about my journey from guitar, you know, it led me to take lessons from Chris Scheiko, which led me to go to music school, which led me back to Indiana, where I started teaching at Wagner's. And through the store, I encountered people that took me down, you know, I've loved martial arts. I've been training that for over 20 years now. Jesus, I'm old. Anyway, and also through that store, I met people that got me, you know, I had a passion for flying. So it's not only just giving me music, but it's taking me other places as well.
Right.
You know, and it's, I mean, my guitars never get mad when I touch another guitar. You know? They're always there. Unconditional love, I guess. I mean, I'm enamored with the instrument. I always have been, and it's a sense of identity, I think, man, to be honest with you. It's played a huge part in my life. I mean, and music in general, just, you know, it's like a time machine. Like, you hear a song, man, I can go right back to my childhood. You know, I can't remember what I did 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But a
Snaps
song,
you back like
it's
that.
like, and you're like, you could smell the smells, and you could see everything around it. I mean, I think that's just amazing that it has that capacity to do something like that to us. You know, I mean, it's there when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're going through. I mean, music is literally everywhere. You know, everything, like a funeral, to the grocery store, to the dentist office, to your car. I mean, and
waiting on the phone, being put on hold.
Exactly.
You always have a nice little music to listen to.
Sometimes it's nice.
All right, number 3. What was your first guitar?
I bought a Black Lotus off the back wall at Wagner's.
Love it.
What was that?
I've had Lotus. Good little guitars.
Yeah, they were. I remember I had a whammy bar, had the
Nice.
Floyd Rose on it, which just irritated the hell out of me.
Oh, wow.
And it was heavy as hell, and I played it through an old organ amp that we got from a family member, because it was free.
Oh,
Didn't have
nice.
distortion on it. It was
Nice.
just a really raw, clean,
Yeah.
no reverb, nothing. Just, this is all you get.
Right.
And it was cool.
Probably an old tube amp, too.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you that, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I remember having that guitar in my room, like, I'd be at school all day, and I couldn't get home. Wait to get home to play this guitar that I knew nothing about. You know what I mean? Everything kind of sounded like that was it. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of wonder now. And I think I may ask my parents this sometime, but I wonder if they thought that was just a passing phase. Because, you know, like, they were like, "Wow, he's still playing that damn thing. Now he's going out and playing it in public in front of people. What the hell's he doing? People are paying him to play that thing? What's going on here?" So,
Exactly. What's happened here?
Exactly. It actually stayed with something. Look what can happen. You know? It has literally been the one instrument. Like, I mean, we all go through phases in life. You know what I mean, we pick something up and it's not for us, so we drop it. Or, you know, but guitar has always been there for me. You know what I mean? Like, I've never, once I picked it up, it was like, I'm done. I can't ever put it down. And that does not mean that I play 20 hours every single day. You know what I mean? Like, you go through times where you don't play as much. But I can't remember the last time I woke up and there wasn't a guitar around me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once I've been taken places against my will by people of authority. That sound good?
Yeah.
That sounds good to me. Okay.
Sweet. So with that first guitar, how long did it take you to like start getting basics down and like feel like you were moving forward? So I know for me, man, I got like a little plastic guitar from the Big Blue store
Yeah.
when I was like 10, and there's a little sheet of paper that had some something called chord symbols on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, no, and kind of a vague description on how to tune it.
Right.
And it's like, oh boy.
Here we go.
Well, I ended up dismantling it to see how it worked.
I did the same thing with
And
my.
that happened with the next 2 or 3 little acoustics I had, And then when I was like just a teenager, like 13, 14, I saved up some money and bought a guitar out of, I think it was Sears and Roebuck. Bought a guitar and amp, little 15-watt practice amp,
Oh yeah.
and a little plywood guitar, like a Tisco Del Rey type thing. And that's where I started. And well, that thing got dismantled as well. Never really made much headway on it until I got my license and got with some buddies and that needed a bass player in a band. And I didn't have a bass, but somebody let me borrow one. And they started telling me, here, put your fingers here, go like this, dun 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 dun. And that was the start of my actual learning stuff.
How old were you at that time?
16.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
about. Well, yeah, I think my first guitar was bought at 15.
Yeah. I was in a band before I knew how to play.
I've
put
heard
it
a
that
lot of
way.
stories of like, what did they say? Like Nikki Sixx showed up to his first band audition with a guitar instead of a bass. He didn't or that's all he could steal or something. Yeah, I mean that's what kind of amazes me is I sit here and I look at all the studying I've done with the instrument over the years, and you get guys coming out here that are making it in music that don't know jack shit.
Why is that? All right, there's 2 of them. Sorry.
Sweet, nice. I like that.
knob.
Wanted to throw that out at you here just to see what you would give me back. Nice, I like that.
Were we recording that too?
Yeah,
It's not gonna get edited, is it?
that one. That'll be on. Okay, so touched on your first guitar. Beautiful piece, Lotus. Love it.
I still have it actually.
So you do have it?
Yeah, I still have
No
it. Mom,
shit.
It's in pieces, like you. I tore my first one apart,
Yeah,
but it's still.
cool.
I think it's in my parents' basement. I have a.
Well, we need to resurrect that, brother.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, if I could. Yeah.
Look,
Oh,
I don't know where I'd find the parts, but
Oh yeah. We can look around.
I think I got something.
I think
got a
I'd have to
screw or
get
two.
I
can
can
pop
screw
with a
or two. I'm missing for those too. I got a screw loose somewhere.
So we talked. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it'd be a good idea to redo that guitar.
Yeah.
I got a couple at the house that need to get redone. Man, every guitar has its own story, I think too.
It does.
You know what I mean? Like I've
Very
got
much so.
14 at the house and 2 or 3 I think somewhere in my parents' basement still stashed. And
Yeah.
I think I've only sold 3 guitars of everyone that I've ever owned.
Wow, really?
I could never, like, some people could get into like buying and trading them.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they're like children to me, I think.
Right.
You just can't take your kid and trade it off to the neighbor's kid for their kid,
Yeah.
you know. But
I've handled a lot of them down over the years.
yeah, I've done that with a few of them.
You know, for better or worse circumstances for the guitar.
I did sell one once to go to the strip club when I was younger.
Well,
And priorities.
you know, it is a commodity.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've you know, Would you rather eat or would you rather have a guitar?
I have a guitar.
Was the question I would always have as a starving musician down in Nashville. So
So how long did you go without eating?
a couple, 3 days.
See, if you just hold out, if something happens.
They call it a fast nowadays.
Yeah.
They call it fasting. It's fashionable nowadays.
Yeah, it's fashionable.
Back in my time, it was just called being a freaking starving musician.
Yeah. You ever see that meme that's got the musicians in the 80s and it has the guy passed out with a guitar and all the beer bottles around him?
Yeah.
Musicians in 2020s and the guy sitting on a computer with a what is that crap?
Looping.
Yeah.
So, who was your first teacher? We touched on this earlier.
Yeah, I still can't remember his name, but Jamie, you do.
Vantwood.
Vantwood was my first teacher. Yeah, I could. Wow, I can.
Old friend of mine as well.
Yeah, I would love to see that guy again. I mean, I know
He
he's
hasn't
not
changed much. He's still a great guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I know he won't remember me.
You would recognize him in a heartbeat.
Really?
Yeah.
I can remember seeing him with his long, he had long, kind of long black hair. I think.
Shorter hair now, but
And he was. He'd always be outside Wagner's smoking a cigarette before I would show up.
yeah.
And there was like, and I don't know why I've always associated like cigarette smell with like guitars now because that's, and I don't look at it as a bad thing. You know,
Yeah.
like some people are like, oh, that's a horrible habit. Yeah, it is a horrible habit, but these are my memories. Stay out of them. So I could remember, and it was just, I don't know. It's really crazy that you asked that, and now it's so vivid in my head. I remember him being real patient with me. The Lord knows he needed it. Or he needed it.
Yeah.
You know, Red River Valley and learning stuff like that.
Sure.
Then I think after a while, I can't remember what happened, if he moved on or if I quit taking lessons, but then I studied with Tim Beagles for quite a while.
Right. Yeah.
I really liked Tim. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. You know, I mean, and have you seen the guy lately? He's like Mr. Universe.
Oh yeah. He's always been in good shape. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
And then I kind of faded off, and you kind of go through that thing with teachers. You know,
So what did
it's
you learn from Tim?
Chris Psycho.
No, what did you learn from Tim?
Tim? I'm sorry. Wow, what did I learn?
Like you kind of learned the basics from Jamie.
I think so. He was the one that kind of got me into like playing like my power chords. So Jamie was kind of like the beginner stages for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you learn that stuff, and then with Tim, I started learning like more of the chords, you know, like moving the power chords around. I remember Jamie showing me the chord box, like, and I thought I was gonna kill. So that was like Chinese water torture for a while. And then there was a break from Tim. And I think like after I graduated high school, I went to Shaiko, who had been at Wagner's for a while. And
Right.
I remember taking hour-long lessons from him. And the first half was always cool, and the second half was me going, what the hell is he talking about? You know,
Yeah.
circle of fourths and fifths and all this stuff. And, you know, me and Chris were similar in age. I think he's a couple years older than me. But I remember him talking about going to music school and how, but he just was like dedicated these couple years of my life to nothing but music. Didn't go out and party, just guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So, like an idiot, I moved up there with my girlfriend, which didn't do well. You know what I mean? It was just an extra hindrance I didn't need. But it was Shaiko that kind of he didn't really push me, but I kind of got my guidance to go to music school from him.
Right.
And then after music school, it was the weirdest feeling because I'm like, I don't feel any different on guitar. Right? So you think after just doing nothing but a year of studying this guitar, you'd come out and you'd feel different. And I'm like, what did I learn? You know? And not too long after that, I'm practicing for a gig, and I was reading, I think it was a Collective Soul song, looking at the solo, and it, like a light switch just went off. And it was like, oh, that's a pentatonic scale, and it's got a minor scale, and this is it. Oh, crap, maybe I did learn something. You know what I mean? But you had to, and that's the hard thing is you have to keep applying it. You know,
Yeah.
otherwise you're going to forget it. So
Exactly.
I think my playing really took off when I started teaching at Wagner's. Because then I was in there every day with a guitar in my hand, explaining these things I learned at school to kids. And you know, if you have 10 students a day, 8 of them are probably going to be similar lessons. You know what I mean?
Right.
7 or 8 of them. So you're kind of just reiterating this stuff to yourself time and time again. And that, you know, and if you have a break, you know what I mean? You just for half hour, and
Right.
you know, I started
Work on your technique and
Yeah,
your
and
speed and your everything.
gigs, and you've got, I mean, all of a sudden there I am immersed in this life where I was literally playing guitar, 60 hours a week, counting gigs, practices, lessons. You get a little burnt out after a while, but I mean, it was, when you're in your 20s, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, I don't have to work a real job. 13 years later,
Yeah.
and I was lazy, But I think I've been really fortunate in that area to be able to pursue something that I love so much, and you know, I mean, for like a long time, I made a good living at it, or decent living. You know what I mean? Like I'm not racing the cover of Forbes by any chance. You know?
Oh, definitely.
But I mean, a couple vacations, you pay for your, you know, what do you do for a living? Play guitar. No, really, what do you do? Play guitar. You know, I mean, it's you know, but it's nice now in the elder years to be more focused on like, I mean, like, the money's important, but it's not that important. Yeah. It's more about we've got to pass this on to that next generation, because people like you and me are gone. You know, they're going to be listening to, you know, all day long, you know, rap. And not against that style of music. I take that back. I really don't like that style of music. It's just, I mean, it's all computers, you know.
Right.
There's something about picking up an instrument and learning this and perfecting it and getting good at it and then performing it. And the bursts going in like click, 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 click. I got a new rap song. Yeah. You know, so.
Right. So when did you start your first band, and what was the name?
Oh, God. Do I want to tell this story or not? I was a sophomore, junior in high school, maybe. Sophomore, junior. And it was me, Gabe Caban, and Mike Wolford, and we started the band Madness. And we did one song, Knock on Heaven's Door, before it just kind of fizzled out, you know what I mean? I think one of our parents wasn't home for a week or something, so we took the house and set it up with all the guitars and amps. And for that week, we did nothing but play music and, you know, try to be these rock stars. And at the end of the week, we had to tear it all down, put everything back so we didn't get grounded or get our asses kicked. And then we'd still play, you know, from time to time, but that's when you learn, like, exactly how much work it takes to be in a band. Like, it's not, you know, it's not all
chicks and booze.
Yeah, and even that, it's like sometimes, like, I can't, you know, God, if I could have every minute that I've been drunk in my life back, I'd live forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's a lot of, you know, trying to get schedules coordinated and levels of dedication and making sure everyone gets along and no fight and what songs we play. And you know, when I watched that Skid Row video, I saw like 5 badasses that were tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I get into music and it's like, I don't want to play that song because I don't like that song. Shut the fuck up and play. You know, like, just come on. It's too heavy. Well, half of this is going to get edited, isn't it?
Oh, man. All right. Well, okay. That answers that question.
Sorry about that one.
No, Madness. I love it. I love the name. So, what were you like the rhythm guitar player on that?
I was, you know,
or do you crank off some lead?
I wasn't even. I probably couldn't even spell lead at that time. My best friend growing up, Gabe Caban, was, you know, his dad, Mike Caban, rest his soul, man, was a great guitar player.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of passed down to Gabe, and me and Gabe started hanging out, and I can remember him getting off work at Little Caesars Pizza and stopping by my house, my parents' house when we were young, and just showing me stuff on guitar. You know, there wasn't all this crazy theory to it. It was just, I don't know, you just do this. And he'd work, you know, he'd play some chords and have fun with it. And then when you got your buddy, you kind of, you know, over time develop that friendly rivalry. I mean, he probably didn't have it as much as I did because he was by far the better of us two, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're always trying to, you want to get up there with Gabe or, you know, be as good as him. So I did a lot of rhythm and a lot of, like, just kind of sitting and watching and learning and putting the ego off to the side. Because it was more about the music to me, you know what I mean? Like, it's always cool to get your friends impressed or get a good crowd that you're playing in front of, but at the end of the day, it's about the music, you know? And I was real fortunate to have, like, and I mean, to this day, we still, I mean, in September, we're going to see another our favorite guitar player for the month, which is Mark Tremonti. So we have meet and greet passes to meet him, and he was at my first concert with Skid Row and Pantera, and I can't even count how many times we've been to concerts. BLS, Zach Wild's a huge influence forever. And so I've been real fortunate when it comes to music, like, to have, I mean, you're in small town Indiana. I've had a lot of great opportunities come from this small town that, you know.
Yeah.
And not saying that you can't get them elsewhere, but.
That's true. That's true.
Depends what you're after, I guess.
So the next question, I pretty much know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How did you get into teaching?
How did I get into teaching? Oh, you're there. Oh, wait, this isn't for you. I literally had moved back from Minneapolis, and I was out with a girlfriend at the time, and I ran into Chris Scheiko, and I realized that I was working, I think, at a furniture store at the time. And so I asked Chris, I'm like, hey man, I need to get some lessons and kind of I've been out of school for a little over a year. And instead of lessons, Wagner's called me the next day and offered me a job teaching. I'd never done it before. Never even considered that as a vein, as something that would happen. Because I was always getting in trouble in school.
Didn't they talk to you about that in school? Of like, one of the things you could do would be to teach?
I probably was not paying attention if I was there that day at all. I skipped a lot of school.
I'm sure they talked tons about music theory and music and timing and tempo.
There was guys.
You'd think they would have a course to say, hey, these are your options as a career.
They might have, but again, I was too busy playing. There's so much going on around me at the time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I had friends there that were teaching, but I just didn't think I would. I didn't think I was cut out for teaching. It's like why aren't you a crane operator on a skyscraper? It's just, I just never thought of that. You know what I mean? Something goofy like that. So, it was an opportunity. I was working at Hoosier Tire at the time, and I'm like, it was just a part-time gig at first, and then I got into it, and I could still remember my first lesson, being nervous, writing tabs upside down. But as I started connecting with people and I started to get good at it, you know what I mean? And it wasn't like, it was a real natural thing for me, to get along with people like that. And to me, music is something that everybody should have.
Yeah.
The guys that hoard it or make it too hard to understand, those guys need to be punched into the you-know-where. Because that's just, it's a beautiful thing. It's like, I always thought that there's God, and then there's music, and then there's man. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that high up on the chain for me. But the teaching thing was real came real natural to me, and I remember talking to Bill, like, hey, can I do this all the time? He's like, you can do as many as you want. I'm like, really? So I took a chance. I think I was teaching on Saturdays. I think maybe 1 or 2 lessons on a Monday and a Friday, something like that.
Yeah.
And I quit Hoosier Tire was going to move me to some department, and I'm like, I'll quit if you do that, because it was just kind of timing of it all. I was didn't really want to be there anyway. I wanted to go play guitar. Yeah. And so I took a chance and I quit. I put it all into Wagner's, and it was tough at the beginning to build it up. Yeah. And then
was Shaiko still teaching there at the time?
He was there when I first started, but he was moving on. So I got a couple of his students that switched over, which was the turning point for me, because once that kind of got out, then I just started getting flooded with students.
Yeah, you were the only thing there.
I had, until you came along. I remember having a list of 20 people that were trying to get in. Wow. And I was like, I think I had 78 at my most. And I remember Bill going, why don't you do 80? I'm like, because that'd be a 40-hour work week. I don't want to do that. You could teach Sunday. Yeah, no, I got football. I needed a day off. You know, because the band I was in at the time was really hot, so we were playing every weekend. Yeah. Usually 2 nights a weekend. Friday and Saturday, and then you're tearing stuff down Sunday. You got a hangover, and it's back to work on Monday. And I didn't start till the afternoons. And when I kind of got the hang of things, of how I could work this, I'm like, okay, so if I'm playing all weekend, my Mondays need to be, 5 or 6 lessons, because I'm going to have one of a hangover, or I need some rest, or whatever. Right. And it's, so you kind of kept the weekends were a little easier, then you just cram as many as you can, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah. And it was fun for a while, but paying your own taxes, I wasn't very good with the money management part of things. Right. And some habits develop out of that lifestyle, but it was fun. Yeah. I wouldn't change it for anything. You know what I mean? Being in your 20s, playing in a hot band, doing nothing but playing guitar, making decent money at the time. Yeah.
And there's something about sitting in a room with a person with a guitar in your hand and a guitar in their hand. Yeah. And helping them achieve what they want to do.
And then seeing those people achieve what they wanted to do. That's my favorite part of watching. I will never as long as I'm on this show, I will never take credit for any of that shit. Yeah. Because all I was the guy that gave you the knowledge, and you had to go home and practice. But to see, I've seen some of these kids that have gone on. There's a couple of them that are really big up in Mishawaka now, playing in some really good gigs, and they're phenomenal players, man. Yeah. And it's nice to see these people, and remember them as kids, and now see them as adults, and the path that they've taken, and how well they've accomplished what they wanted to do. Yeah. I couldn't tell you anything else about their lives, but I know with guitar, I could tell if they feel successful. I'm happy for them. Yeah. Guys that have gone out and opened up for national acts. I love that. That's the whole reason we do what we do, is to help people get those. Just here's what you got to do to get to there. You go home and do the work, and you'll be fine. there's that word work.
You know, I was recently probably really refreshed at the youth of today as far as musicians go. You know, I told you one of my students did that rock camp over at Sweetwater this year.
Yeah.
And I was able to go over and watch the performance.
Really? How'd he do?
Oh, he did wonderfully.
Good.
I mean, he was the band leader basically. I mean,
He was the guy pulling. They're
he
all
was
following
pulling the
his
weight
direction.
all the way through. I mean, the drummer was doing good, the bass player was solid, the other rhythm guitar player had only been playing maybe a year, so
Wow.
he was like a potted plant, unfortunately.
We've all been the pot.
12-year-old singer that was really not bad for his age, but his performance and all the other performances, there was 6 groups that they had that played 3 songs each.
Okay.
And they had to learn 2 cover songs and write an original in a
wow.
week's time.
They took our idea, didn't they?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, and put it into a week format. But just seeing what those kids were doing and the dedication it took to get to that point, because you and I know it takes a lot to walk on that stage and say, I'm going to play this song for you.
Yep. It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
It's very, and like until you need to be 100% comfortable with who you are and what you've done.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, to be a musician, you need to have thick skin. Because I know for
definitely.
every person that likes me, there's probably 2 or 3 that don't.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want you to like me then. If that's what you are. But get on a stage, you know, I've had to get on stages in some really precarious situations with people.
yeah,
You know, and it's not always easy to do. And I mean, thank God it's in a bar so you could drink, I guess. But
yeah,
you know, but when it clicks, bud, everything else is worth it.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have those nights that, you know, you're not going to play the best. And
yeah,
probably feel like an idiot. But the times where you're not playing like an idiot, like you put the time and the effort into practicing the stuff and getting it down
yeah.
and just do what you do.
Yeah.
Relax. Don't think about the people, you know?
I worked with a guy years ago. I was a sound man for his band down in Nashville called The Surge, and he was the lead singer. And he summed it up pretty well. He says, "Man, you know, not everybody's going to like what I do. Not everybody's going to like my voice,
Right.
but through the use of the band and putting on a good show, if I can reach one person every time I go out, I've done my job." You know, if I can affect somebody with an emotion, like, hey, I love that song, or it might bring a tear to their eye, or, whatever.
Make it,
They can appreciate, if they can appreciate what I'm doing, if I can just hit one person, that's good enough for me.
Well, I agree with that. That's a good statement, too. I mean, that's you know, you could be a bar with 1,000 people in front of you. And they could all hate you, but you got that one guy, and all of a sudden those 1,000 people just kind of, what's going on?
Yeah.
Who are they? Anyway, come here, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, and because you're impacting that person's life in a positive way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which I mean, and it's like that line from Spider-Man. They say, you know, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
You know, but you don't want to take these people and lead them down the wrong path. Like, you know, I've developed habits from you know, my playing days that were not healthy for me. So it's kind of nice to be in a situation like, hey, dude, I wouldn't watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, don't get caught up in the BS. Stay focused on the music, and
Right.
good things will happen if you just stay with it. You know, it's frustrating when you get the kids that you can tell they're naturals. Like they don't work hard at this at all. Like it's just flowing, and I'm
It
like,
just kind of comes to them.
yeah. And I'm like, I get so happy when I see them, but when they're just like, I was lazy. I just wanted to lay around all day, playing video games. What are you doing, man? Do you understand? Like you're 12 years old now, but by the time you're 22, I mean, you'd be the best thing. You know what I mean? Like things aren't going to always be this hard, or you know what I mean? They're going to change. It's going to evolve. You have potential to be really good. And I have a student right now that is 13 years old, and he's just playing it. It's coming to him naturally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the kid loves to play. He's all about the music, and it's like, and I think I'm actually playing with him in 2 or 3 weeks. Just doing a song. We're doing "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd.
Sweet.
A little band that I know you know nothing about.
Yeah. Who are they? Yeah. Which one's Floyd? Which one's Pink?
The one next to Pink.
There you go.
Days. God, I think of that singer, Pink.
So what genres are you comfortable playing?
What's the genre? No, I obviously I've always loved the speed and the power of like the heavier stuff.
Right.
But I have caught myself listening to a lot of country lately, and I am digging.
I understand you've taken the the fork in the road.
I've taken the
as
fork
you
in
would
the
say,
road.
for a lot of guitar players in their life. They start out on the more edgier side, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And then they but they to paraphrase a song, take a walk on the chicken side.
Yeah.
So how's that going for you? I mean,
It is, I'm gonna tell you this right now. The guys in 30 South are some of the best dudes I've ever met because they're putting up with my shit. I showed up to my first practice with a Marshall stack and a Jackson guitar, and they're like, "What the hell is this?" We're country, let me rephrase this first off. They're country, but they're not like we're not sitting there. We're not playing that crap. It's got some cojones to it, But they've been very patient with me because the spots that I would normally go to for a solo that are just I don't even think about it are spots I can't go in country music. Oh, well that doesn't really fit. Yeah, I know. I heard it too.
that dag-nabbit major pentatonic.
Yeah, they have been very patient, and I really like the guys, and I'm starting to really get into country because it's a very technical style of music. To be honest with you, there's nothing that's gonna ever replace to me just that feeling of hitting a power, just the growl of an amp, and that genre of music. And I've always been influenced by that heavier side of music because I have ADD on a guitar. My hands constantly gotta be. If you give me a big song, I'll nail it. You give me a 3-chord song, I'm gonna fall asleep and start going. Who are the Bears dropping this year?
Yeah.
What if they still serve them pizza lunches they did when I was in high school? The square pizzas and the green beans. Well, who eats pizza and green beans? That's usually what happens, So, I think as a teacher, we need to be a little versed in every style. Like, my thought is that I should be able to go sit in with any style of band and get through one song.
Yeah.
Now, I'm never going to say I'm a jazz artist because I am far from it, but I could play some chord progressions. I enjoy the music. I love it in certain situations, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Same thing with blues, same thing with country, same thing with rock, same metal. I would say probably the one style you don't need to learn is going to be the death metal stuff that's always like, Then we go to their next song and then the ballad.
So you don't recommend that?
I'm not going to tell anybody what to do.
It's not on your playlist?
Yeah, I got rid of it. Yeah. Because after a while, it's all there's not much diversity in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, if you have some metal bands have a lot of melodic parts to them. They're big songs, but I've watched a lot of these bands, and I'm not trying to slam on them or anything, but it's like there's no the dynamics of the songs are non-existent. Mm-hmm. Everything's kind of the same. You know what I mean? Like, and I grew up using to love that stuff. I think I only loved it because it pissed my parents off. You know what I mean? And with bands, like you got some of these death metal bands or these crazy death metal bands just have some of the craziest names too that are, make people scared of you. I think. But, I do enjoy. I mean, I could listen to it. I've seen a lot of great bands. I went to Knotfest a couple years ago and saw some good bands that were a little on the heavier side. Weren't really for me per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah. On the heavier side for you is pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah, it was pretty, well, I think when the guy said Hail Satan, I was kind of like, well, that's okay. Or 1986 called and they want their gig back. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Hail Satan, bro. Come on, Motley Crue did that in 82, dude. What are you doing? So that was, but I mean, and it's not saying like some people, like, I know for myself, I am a musical whore. I mean, I would play. If a death metal band said, hey, we need a guitar player, well, I'm studying death metal then tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want to play. I mean,
you know the story about me.
Yeah.
You want to learn harmonica? Shit, I'll teach you harmonica.
What are you doing, Fongo? I got to learn how to play this thing real quick. I got a lesson in a half hour. I've told that story many times throughout life, and people are like, well, what happened? He taught the lesson. Got him for a while. Kazoo lesson. He didn't get, Fongo, he'd teach anything.
Dulcimer.
Want to play the O instruments? Remember those days?
The banjo, the mandolin. I was already well versed in that from my time in Nashville, so I was comfortable doing that.
I like the ukulele.
The ukulele is fun. I actually have a ukulele magazine that comes to the house.
Are you ukulele monthly?
It's quarterly.
Quarterly?
Yeah, it's kind of like these guitars here, the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
I've been getting these for years, even after I closed the store.
Really? They just found out where you lived. It's still sending, huh?
Well, yeah, we forwarded the address,
Okay,
but,
yeah.
I mean, they're great. I very rarely read them. I always pass them along to students,
Yeah. Well, they need to learn to read too. 'Cause
Yeah.
7 letters of the
Tab,
alphabet.
music, and words. All right, dude, let's move on here. Sounds like you're comfortable with pretty much anything. This is one of my favorite questions I've asked students over the years. If you were a chord, what would you be? I can tell you my answer to this because I always preface it. I kind of think off in left field sometimes.
No.
No.
That's why we got along so well.
But yeah, if I were a chord, I would be an F sharp minor 7.
Minor 7?
Minor 7. Perfect. Yeah. See, that's me in essence in a chord right there.
I don't know. So
Have you ever thought about it?
I've never thought about it until just now.
Well, there you go.
I really want to say like E minor 7 sharp 9. Kind of funky sometimes.
No, well, you're kind of
Then I
funky.
kind of dig like a D-tuning here.
Sweet.
My favorite song. It's a Chinese song called Tuning. It's the #1 hit over in China right now.
Chong-da. I'm not sure what I just said, but there's chong-da.
Well, I really like some of these drop D power chords.
Ooh.
We got like a. I don't even really know what they are, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we could sit down and
You
figure
haven't done the
them out.
math on them, huh?
No, I mean, it wouldn't be Yeah, that's kind of one of the fun things to do with the guitar too. Is just kind of take that theory,
Right.
that stuff. The reason why I have no friends. Push it off to the side and just go, what feels good. And I couldn't tell you what. I don't pay attention to any of the theory. You just start playing.
Right.
Don't think of. Just enjoy it. Have you? Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Has there ever been a song you didn't want to learn because it would take that mystique of the song away?
I would have to say yes, many times.
Yeah. See, I got a couple
Yeah.
of songs like that.
Oh yeah.
Dust in
That's
the
a
Wind.
great question. That's a fucking great question. Yes.
I would never want to learn. I'm a huge Zeppelin fan from my old stoner days, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite song was always Over the Hills and Far Away. And I never wanted to learn that song because I felt like it's like I don't want to know. It does this thing for me that makes me feel good. I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
And so I obviously learned it on accident.
No.
But there's a lot of songs out there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and it's just like I'm to the point now, I'll have my playlist going and just jamming on old stuff that I've loved over the years, all this different stuff. And I'll come across a song, I says, okay, I want to know how to play this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I'll stop what I'm doing, pull up my Ultimate Guitar app, dial up the song, okay, these chords, and I'll play the song, and my fix is gone. It's like, okay.
I did the other night with.
Because these songs, you get these rhythms and grooves and stuff in your head, and it's like, oh, it's so cool. And then, well, I might as well learn how to play it. And, it's not going to take me but a second.
Yeah.
And you scratch that itch, and then, but yeah, like you said, there's a lot of the songs over the years, you learn them, and it's like, okay, well, that's not that hard. And, but then, on the other hand, it's always fun to take a piece and kind of make it your own.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And add your own little twist and groove to it,
That's what I like about the writing process, I think.
Yeah.
I can remember being in some really good cover bands and people just trying to, man, we're going to learn covers to write my own music. Great. How'd you learn to write your own music? By playing covers.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll answer that for you. But I'm writing with another band as well as 30 South. I've been playing with Left in Silence for a while and writing with those guys. And that, to me, I love that process. You know what I mean? It's cool to go from that where you're all standing around with your thumbs up your ass going, God, we need something to get us going. And the bass player or the other guitar player plays something, and everyone just starts feeding.
Yeah.
And it starts building and going,
Right.
and you see this momentum, and it's so freaking awesome to me. I don't know why I like this, but you're in this room and everyone's just kind of like, dude, but you just watch those attitudes shift. Like, oh, here, I can put this here. I can do this. We can do this.
Right.
And all these ideas start circulating, and it's the most awesome feeling in the world, I think, man. And
Yeah.
at that point, I'm like, I don't care those songs ever get out the garage.
Right.
It's just it's a fun process to do, knowing that,
Yeah.
some people like to build houses, some people like to work on cars. I like to make music. I mean, I don't
Right.
care. That's just how it is. I mean,
Yeah.
like, don't get me wrong. I love get a good crowd. I've had some really good gigs with Left in Silence, and and it feels good to hear people applauding for your songs. Because I was doing a show last year when I was like, oh, these aren't covers. They didn't know these, and they're and it's like it's a whole new vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it's cool to be able. And let's face it, when you write your own song, you can't screw it up.
Right.
I meant to put that there, or it's jazz. So what about that was the jazz section I put in
Yeah.
there.
Right.
But getting your ideas and that first riff in your head and watching it go through the whole process is that's cool. I love that.
All right, man. I got a couple more questions for you before I, cut you loose. And hell, I'm sure we could sit here and talk guitar shit for hours and hours on end. And we might have to do an episode 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
I'll be back next week.
Whatever it may be. But like, what's your proudest moment on guitar, or in your life of playing guitar?
My proudest moment. Probably with teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've got to play in some really good bands with some really good guys, and you hit the 1,000-person mark at the gigs. But I think when it boils down to it, dude, being able to help someone get through this maze of music and watch them
definitely
going from these kids that have the same problems that we all have as adolescents, and watch them grow into these adults that are just like tearing it up in the bars now. I absolutely love that shit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the best high I've ever had in my life. And you can't take any credit because it's all the individual that did the work. But just knowing that some of the things that you said helped get him through that, I'm cool with that, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we're all gonna die anyway, so what do accolades mean anyway in the end?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all gonna be 6 feet under, so.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, and it's cool to see people go from saying like, I can't do this, or this is bullshit, I can't no, shut up and play. And they actually listen, and it happens. And then, you know what I mean? Like, you thought you couldn't do it, and look at you now. I love that feeling, man. That's the coolest part about music for me.
I agree. Yeah. I'd say
You got to go play for the Soldiers, too, so that would be...
that for me, it's probably like 3 big moments, I think, for me as a guitar player that I can just die the next day on.
Yeah.
Those type of moments. And
Right.
and going and doing the tour in Saudi Arabia and playing for the United States Armed Forces with my brothers that I grew up with and created this band. And we were doing half originals, half covers.
Right.
And just that whole process that we went through to do that and coming back and learning what I learned from that process. That's definitely top 3. The next one would probably be putting out independently a cassette single back in 1990.
Oh, wow. The Blue Fawn. It's called Life, You and Me.
The cassette single was this was before we could afford CDs.
Right.
This is like,
What year is this?
I'm saying
recorded?
1990.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, spring of 90 is when we got that thing put out. We had a lot of help with photography and artwork.
Uh-huh.
Some friends of ours, 6-pack of beer and a 1/4 ounce of weed does a lot of stuff. Or should I say, a case of beer.
Yeah, I remember those days, man.
But we ran like 200 copies off. Down in Nashville, there's all kinds of fucking dupe plants down there.
Right.
Duplicate tapes, and back then albums were still prevalent.
Well, yeah, vinyl.
Yeah. But being able to put things together, write songs with another person, and put together a musical group that was cohesive enough to go in and record songs and be able to play them live.
I get a reaction.
And then, and go on and do that for the troops.
That,
You know,
yeah.
that, you know, because
Under
this
sniper
came
cover.
first, and then about a year later was the tour for the troops.
Really.
Yeah.
I would love to have done something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's crazy because I could think of all the goals and dreams that I had as a
Yeah.
kid, and a few of them have happened.
Yeah.
But I am so cool with just those few happening. Like,
Yeah.
when it's time to be the end, like, I'll be the guy that you find in the chair with a guitar still playing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that. The fame and all that crap. That's just a headache to me anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I just
Yeah.
like writing music. Like the Left for Silence. I mean, we've all had that band. We've all had substance issues of some sort.
Sure.
Through our life. So it's nice to be on the other side of those, singing about them, writing about them, and maybe, hopefully, helping someone either go get help or get through that shitty period that we have to go through, you know,
Yeah.
to get clean.
Definitely.
So I really love. I mean, that's the fuel that fires that fire for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like hopefully I can take something negative in my life and put the positive spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that has to rank up there too for sure.
Yeah.
You know, as far as proudest moments on a guitar, and you know, I mean, I've played lots of weddings.
Yeah.
You know, and they are the most nerve-wracking gigs because
Yeah.
you don't want to screw up someone's big day, but it's nice to be able to offer that to someone. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, for me, for the cassette thing was, you know, I'm proud of the music. I'm proud of the final product, but the fact that it was done independently,
Yeah.
me and two other guys came together and had a like-minded vision. Because see, this is not just me.
Right.
You know, that's the beautiful thing. That's the thing I'm most
It's a
proud of.
group effort.
Exactly.
And to find the
I
people
was
that you
able
get along
to
with.
work with two other human beings, even though I've known them most of my life,
Right.
to create a product that we independently put out, and you know, sold at gigs, and you know, sent off to record labels and stuff, because we did a lot of that. A lot of those copies went, you know, we had addresses, all different record labels, and
Just start firing them all.
that's what you did back then. You know.
I wouldn't even know how
And
to
it wasn't, you know, we were about probably 8 to 10 years ahead of our time,
Right.
because after that, producing music independently became a lot easier, you know, with the internet and computer recording, all that kind of stuff. You know, we used to have to go to a buddy's studio that had an 8-track Fostex reel-to-reel like Bill had.
Yeah, I remember those.
And he had, you know, booths set up and isolation and stuff, and
When I-
because I had my engineering background, you know, he and I connected, and he would let me kind of just do
Right.
the engineering, so he wouldn't have to be around, and he would like mix us after we got everything tracked.
And he still got paid for it, probably.
I don't know if we really paid him much anything. He was just doing it as a favor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's even better, dude.
Yeah. I mean, we did stuff for him, you know, whenever he needed
Right.
it. But he was just helping us out, you know.
You know, that's cool. That's the beautiful thing of music is that you get, you know, like I know you had your engineering degree, so don't take this, you know, the wrong way.
It's not a degree. I just know how to turn knobs.
Okay. Well, yeah. Anyway, so you can drive trains because you're an engineer now.
Get the hell out of the way.
It's cool that you've got these people. You're all in it for the same reason. Like, that's the camaraderie of music. The
Yeah.
beautiful thing, the beautiful
Yeah.
side of music is that, you know, like, hey man, well, you need a recorder. Well, I've got stuff to do it, and I know how to do it. Let me record you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's or people that I know how to work on guitars. Let me help you with this, or let me help you. You know,
Right.
Everybody chips in, kind of helped each other out, and there was like, for a while there, the scene around nowhere Indiana was bands were always helping bands, and then it kind of got cliquish and
Yeah.
like I'm not out there to compete for friends, dude, or
Yeah.
whether you like me or not, or buy more than the nicest shirt, whatever. I don't care about any of that shit.
Yeah.
You know, again, big company gets its hands on something and kind of tends to ruin it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but go ahead and ruin it because you can't ruin me. I'm still playing my stuff, so I don't need your label. I wouldn't mind your money, but I'm not gonna go, get on my knees for it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
wrong string.
And then probably my final proudest moment out of those three would be watching my boy McLean over there at Fort Wayne.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I missed last year's because this is his second year.
Okay.
I missed last year's because of COVID, and I just didn't get over there. But this year I made a point to drive over there after work and hang out there with his folks, and I actually videotaped it.
Really?
So, yeah, I've got a great videotape, except that I get a little too into the music and the camera's
Pictures
just
going all over the
bouncing
place.
all over the place.
Like
You
it's
can tell
having a
when I'm
seizure.
banging my head because the camera's up and down like this, you know.
You know, we should go sign up for that program next summer.
I think there's an age limit, man.
I'm only 26.
Hey, up here I'm, fucking 15 still. So,
Absolutely.
but dude, I got one more question for you.
Sure.
We're cranking out another probably hour-long podcast here. So, we talked about your proudest moment. What's your worst moment on guitar? In guitar, with guitar.
On my 28th birthday, I was playing a gig. It just so happened that the bass player had the same birthday as I did. So everyone in the bar's goal was to get one of us to puke on stage.
Oh,
We won, no one puked, but I might have passed out in the middle of a song and fell straight back. Don't remember the rest of the night.
how'd the guitar fare?
The guitars lived.
Yeah.
I guess thank God the singer could play a little guitar, and
Yeah.
he finished the night out. I think I was out for 3 songs maybe.
Wow.
So that, the time, there was kind of a cool factor to that. Now I'm like, man, he just looked like an idiot. I think guitar has been there. So, when we lost Bill, I spent a lot of time on guitar that was, wasn't actually the greatest times of my life. It was pretty rough, until you start writing songs to deal with things. So, I think whenever I've had to deal with something heavy in life, like death or a loss of some sort, I wouldn't classify those as some of my best pieces have come out of those times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, struggling to play the guitar when like losing someone like Bill was horrible for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you try to play it off and I was horrible at it.
Right.
You didn't realize how much that guy affected my life and how positive of an influence he was on me until he wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And so there was a time where it was really hard to pick up a guitar. Like, I can remember playing shows and I would just take the guitar I got from Jan, that was his, and just set it there. Just for whatever reason, I never played it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Jan called up my ass one day and said, "You need to start playing that because that's what Bill would want you to do."
Yeah.
So I started. It's one of my main go-to guitars when I teach now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of probably some embarrassing gigs. We all do stupid stuff on stage from time to time, but I think there was a point in my life where I wondered, because I had this a crazy, insane passion for the instrument, and I just wish I could just let go of it sometimes and just go live a normal life. You know what I mean? Like, I just go to work, come home, have a family, because
Yeah.
there was that time, but then it's like
Yeah. I agree.
I did that for a small period, and I was miserable. So I'd rather be miserable with my guitar than miserable with a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've had periods of where, for one reason or another, I've stepped away from it. And it kind of sucks because you should be picking it up and playing because you have that ability and you shouldn't waste it.
Yep, we shouldn't.
But I've always come away from that after I've stepped away from it and take some time and just not fuck with it.
Right.
I come back and my playing's better.
Yeah.
I understand things more. More things come to me. Just opens up more ideas, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
That's. I remember me and Gabe talking as kids, and that was one of the things. And I think it was an article with Brent Muscat from Bastard Pussycat back in the '80s. Did that or Tracy Guns? But someone had said something about how, like, if I pick up a guitar and it doesn't feel right, I put it down for a week or two.
Yeah.
Go do something else.
Yeah.
And then pick it back up. And you get into bands with guys and like, oh, we gotta sludge through this. No, we don't, because you're just pissing me the fuck off right now.
Yeah.
I this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
So I need a break. And
Yeah.
people, nope, just got pound through. Pound through what, dude?
What are you pounding for?
Yeah, exactly. We're in Indiana.
Yeah.
We're not going to be gracing a Japanese world tour or a European world. You know what I mean?
Right.
It has to be fun. And it has to. If you don't want it to be work, it needs to stay fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've lost sight of that many a time.
Oh, it's easy to do.
know.
So I'm guilty as charged.
Yeah.
But now it's it's a whole new mindset going into into bands now. Like, this is if it never gets out of the garage, so what? I'm having fun.
Right.
If I start dreading it and it starts not being fun, then I move on.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Who wants to be miserable for no reason?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's what they have divorce for now.
Yeah, my worst moment would probably be selling my prized guitar, well, pawning off my prized guitar, you know, so I could pay rent, you know.
Yeah, cardboard boxes.
Yeah, well, you know, that was an option. But, yeah, low points,
Yep.
you know, where you got to
Oh, yeah.
give up gear or something, or, you know, living in a big city and, you know.
When I was in Minneapolis, I used to do that. Pawn my gear off on a Monday, pick it up by Friday. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
This is just a kind of an old starving musician's question.
Yeah.
Have you ever sold your plasma?
Oh yeah.
Have you?
Absolutely, dude.
Sweet, man.
We used to. When I was going to
Me
music.
too.
That's what I was alluding to that. I did not mean to cut you off, but there was I used to take my amp in every Monday to the pawn store up in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And they'd give me $100 for it, and they'd hold it till Friday.
Yeah.
You know, because I would get paid on Fridays, or I got paid every other Friday at the time. So they'd hold it for me for the week, and then I would get it in time for the gig, donate blood to get the amp back, get paid from the gig, pay out my bills, put the amp back on Monday, and repeat, and then donate blood 2 or 3 times, many times we could.
Yeah.
So yeah, I donate a lot of plasma.
Yeah.
Never sperm though.
No.
Stopped at plasma.
Back in my day, it was $20 to get.
I think it was like 30,
Was it?
35 maybe. It wasn't,
Wow.
wasn't a whole lot. Like your first one was always like 60 or 70, and then they
they hooked
lure
you
you
in.
in. Oh, we're only gonna give you 30 for that crap now.
Yeah.
And it was like a free AIDS test though too. So what the hell?
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, like-
that's true. Yeah. That's true. That's hilarious, man. Yeah.
God, those lots of ramen noodles in my time too, man.
Oh yeah. A lot of peanut butter and toast and coffee. And
I don't
not
even
much of the finer things in life.
I still don't have those.
Yeah.
I have peanut butter and jelly without the bread.
Eat it right out the spoon.
Gots to, man. I don't even have a spoon. I use my finger.
Yeah, I remember going to work in a foam factory in Nashville, making $3.35 an hour.
Jesus, where were you down? What year was that?
It was 85, 86,
What's the minimum wage then?
$3.35.
Fair enough. Yes. Think before you speak, Stick.
$3.35. Worked an 8-hour shift, working with foam. Okay, so
Yeah.
it wasn't real hard.
Right.
Okay. Many times, you know, my lunch would be just a jar of peanut butter and a spoon. You know,
What'd you drink?
just water. You'd get a water, you know, drink water out of the
Right.
fountain. But you know, we'd go out to the truck, and you know, my buddy would have his spoon, and I'd have mine. He was the drummer in Blue Fawn, you know. I mean, hard times, dude.
that is-
you know,
that's-
and
that's
our
no
big
fun.
thing would get paid on a Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'd get our checks cashed at, you know, some bank, and then right next door there's like a Little Caesars.
Yeah.
So we'd always go get like some breadsticks, which
Yeah.
is like the cheapest thing
Yeah.
on the freaking menu.
And that was like the
And that was our treat.
meal for the week.
Yeah. Rest of it pretty much went on gas to get back and forth to the job and rant.
Gotta have the smoke too.
Yeah. Yeah, there was that too.
So I started growing it, man, because I didn't have to pay for it. Just faced a higher jail sentence. That was fun.
That was. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming out for
Thank you for having
this
me.
podcast and the other one we did.
Pop the cherry today.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get these wrapped up and I'll send them to you.
I appreciate it, man.
And
Thank you very much, brother.
thank you. This is the end of Life with Guitar. I want to thank my good friend Matt Stic Girres for coming over. My friends call me Fongo. Jam on, friends.